We're looking back at the year 2023 that we just came out of. And man, what did God do? How did he show up? Next week, we're gonna talk about financial updates, where are things at financially. We have a bunch of good stuff to report, but we want you to be in the know. The week after that, there's quite a few small projects that we've done over the last 18 months. A couple are still in the works, but we want to tell you about that. And then the final week, week 4, we'll look at the new construction projects that we are embarking on, and timelines, and when we're planning on breaking ground, and status updates there, and where the permits are at, and all that sort of stuff. So piece by piece, we'll get there. So this week is just general. I have 5 pretty small things that I want to tell you. Number 1 is people always want to know when we talk generally about the church, is the church growing? Are there more people? What were our attendance? Which is a very fair question. We're pleased to report that things continue to grow month after month, year after year. We tend to look at our attendance numbers year over year. December, the month that we just came out of, actually was our best year over year growth that we've had since I've been the pastor here in the last 7.5 years. We were year over year up almost 200 people. It was pretty remarkable. The second would be parking and service times. This is just a quick thank you. Most of you know in November, we adjusted our service times by 15 minutes. Many of you raised your hand and said, hey, I'll be willing to park kind of out in Timbuktu, which I'm aware is inconvenient when it's very snowy or very rainy, those sorts of things. And so we're just grateful across the board for the family's flexibility, because those have allowed us to give a little bit of a buffer when it comes to parking, when it comes to attendance. Even our first service has grown a little bit. I think a few second service people have switched over to that, and it's helped us. You can look around in the room and realize, oh, if I'm a family of 5, I'm gonna struggle to find a place to sit. So we're grateful that you all have been flexible with that. The third is our academy. We reported this back to you, I think, in September, but we had a record enrollment year. We grew by another 10%. If you're newer and you don't know, our church does have a private school here Monday through Friday, and 333 students enrolled this year. We are grateful for that. We love to wear out our campus. It requires way more bathroom cleanings and way more, repairs to dents in the wall, but I love those problems, and we're glad that we get to minister to a few hundred people every single day of the week. The fourth is, we just wanted to give you a little bit of an update on safety and security. About 9 months ago, maybe 10 months ago now, our leadership team put together a list of all of the things that we would love to do with safety and security, and then we prioritized them into tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. And we are just at the very finish line of checking off the end of our tier 1 list. Many of these you wouldn't be aware of, but we think it's important to note. So we have added some new cameras and updated a lot of our cameras, because there is a system by which we can kind of monitor the campus through those cameras behind the scenes, which is helpful for us. Of course, we do have an academy here, and that is kind of, doors are locked during the day and you have to be buzzed in. And that provides a unique window into security, because most people are aware that there is a law that if you are a public school or a private school, doesn't matter, you cannot have a weapon on campus, even if you have a concealed carry permit. This is why you see school shootings more often than shootings in other places, because generally people know there's going to be a lack of firearms present. The only way you can get around that is if you have someone that goes through an intense amount of training to be a security resource officer and do tactical firearms training and those sorts of things. And we wanted to take someone on our full-time staff and send them through that training and get certified, and we did. And they have a military background. And the point is, we felt it was important to communicate to our families, if someone should show up Monday in the middle of the school day, we can return fire with fire. Now, God forbid that would ever happen, but we felt that was an important step for us to make it a safer place. That all of the glass on our external entrances is being changed from normal glass to a shatterproof glass. And so we have actually, it's not bulletproof, but it's glass that if someone was trying to get through, no matter what they had, they're not gonna be able to get through easily to allow us time. Just things that are worst case scenarios, I'm aware, I don't wanna scare anybody, but we just want you to know we're doing our best to be diligent behind the scenes to make this campus as secure as possible. I also just want to give a shout out to the medical team that's been behind the scenes for a while, and the security team that is kind of in its infancy right now. You may not realize it, that there's someone that's kind of on call who's here for like medical emergencies every weekend. Who we have their name and we know who they are, and they're designated to address those. And we actually had that happen last month at the end of the first service. We kind of had a medical emergency, and hats off to the medical team because you guys stepped up. You knew where the supplies were. It wasn't perfect, I wouldn't say, in that every single person on the whole campus knew what was going on, but who needed to know knew. And it worked well. So there's a lot more I could say. I think I'll leave it there just to let you know as a church family, we care about that, and we're making some investments in our time and our money into those areas. The last one is, I think, the most important one, and I hope that you'll agree with me, is that over the course of 2023, we went back and we kind of calculated the numbers, and we saw 177 people that we know of, like we had personal conversations with, put their faith and their trust in Jesus. And we had 47 of those people follow Jesus in believers' baptism. And I'm the type of person that I always want to reach forward. I always want more. I always want to keep pushing and making progress. But I do think it's important in the lifeblood of a church that we stop from time to time and just say, you know what? Over the course of a year, about 3 times a week, there was somebody that was saying, bowing their head, putting their faith in Jesus and saying, Jesus, I want you to be Lord of my life. And over the course of a year, about every week, there's somebody that's like, I want to be baptized and follow Jesus in that, and to celebrate that and to enjoy that and to be thankful for that fruit.